So today is a bit different setup because I wanted to check if my big stand is tall enough to emulate the sun on the second floor. And funny thing is that I forgot to extend one of the risers and I thought it's not tall enough. I think with this riser it's still not tall enough, but it's like shy of 1 meter. So actually if I got some 1 meter tall platform, it could be enough. So we'll see if that will happen. But when I tested the height of this unsuccessfully, when I tested the height of this stand, and I actually got the idea that maybe I could use some COB on this stand instead of the panel I used in the last video, link somewhere here. So the setup today is opposite what was before. I got a panel in front of me, so this is F600Bi, and I have a really high in the sky Aputure 1200X, but I'd say it's not ideal setup, but we'll explore it. So I guess I would take the BTS camera to show this, but maybe first I would show how the whole setup looks like, because at the moment I have only the front panel, so the key light, and that's the background light. This time I have a background light. It's nothing fancy, just a COB with a reflector, but then I think it's better than before. And I have this reflector above, which, as you can see, creates the shadow there, so it's not ideal. The key light creates the shadow behind me, and this reflector creates the shadow here, so it's not ideal. I was hoping this would work as a headlight, but seems it doesn't, even though it is like 6.5 meters above me. And you can see the leg of the stand here, because I have to move it as close as possible to kinda have it above me. It's still not above me, but before, when it was not in the frame, it was pushed like 2 meters away, and my shadow was much longer. And of course you can see that there is another shadow here, so it's quite lame, but we will see. This is the standard 45 centimeters reflector, and there is a campfire which I would have to fit in a second. So that's the look with all 3 lights, and I will try to show the BTS, but not sure it would work. And again, and last time, I'm using the TC-1s to sync everything. So this is that top-down light, and it is on the stand. It's like 6 meters tall, the stand, plus the light itself, the yoke is like 30, maybe more centimeters, so it's like 6.5 meters. Then it's this background light, there is a key light, and there is a campfire. I like campfires, and also there are plenty of mosquitoes, so the campfire is a practical, but it is also practical in terms it produces the smoke, so the mosquitoes are kinda repelled. And regarding the time code, for those who don't know, I have TC-1 connected to each of the Sony cameras, and it feeds the time code as a audio recording. But also one of the TC-1s is transmitting that audio to Action 5, and again Action 5 is recording. Although yes, it's recorded, so the time code on Action 5 is also recorded as an audio, and that way I can sync it in post. I checked it last time, and it works like a charm. So I also recording main audio track on Deity TC-1, but I'm not transmitting it wirelessly to the soundbar. There is no soundbar actually today, so I'm not syncing the soundbar, and the master time sync just it's there on the chair doing nothing, just creating the master time code, but they actually not syncing with it anymore, so it's just there. I can see how much battery is left, like 29 hours, so should be fine. So this is the setup. I think it's not that great, although I have to see this on a bigger screen to actually judge it. But I think this shadow is kind of bad. So this kind of the spotlight, I was hoping if this is far away, like it is high enough, it would be kind of acceptable, but it seems it's not. It's still hard to judge, although now on this is the cowboy crop, cowboy shot, so it's bad. Like you probably the cowboys are not that fat, but anyway, that's cowboy crop, and this shadow is kind of bad. So maybe I would be able to eliminate this with a different modifier. So the plan was to use 30 and 15 degrees reflector if this is too wide. It is kind of wide. If you can see on the BTS camera, like everything is illuminated. I can like show what the top down light is doing. It seems not much, a bit, because the key is quite strong, but definitely illuminates like the whole lawn. So, and on my face, and maybe it's kinda works as a hairlight, because before I haven't seen it, but it's a bit of the hairlight. But I would like it to be like with the panel before. It looked much better. The hairlight part looked much better, and here on my torso, maybe if it is from the other side, that would be better. But now I'm not able to switch it because there is this campfire. So maybe I could move a key here, but maybe I would leave it like that. The only annoying thing is that shadow, so probably I won't be able to eliminate, but I got two reflectors. I also have 600D and Fresnel, so maybe the Fresnel would make a difference, but I doubt it. And I also have the light dome 3, so in theory I would be able to create a soft light, so maybe the 600D and light dome 3 would be okay, because I would probably won't be able to raise 1200X with light dome 3. We will see. This thing is rated to, I think, 30 kilos, but with this 10 kilo 1200X, it already seems iffy, so I think I wouldn't put anything heavier. So I don't know, that would be kind of annoying to change the modifiers, but maybe I'll start, maybe I'll try to put light dome 3, I don't know. I thought that the 45 degrees reflector would be too wide. It's kind of wide, but not as wide as I thought it would be. And maybe, and it's really bright, maybe the problem with the Aputure reflector is that it creates the hotspot. So maybe actually the hotspot is the annoying part. I have to see this on a bigger monitor, or maybe move this monitor closer. But it creates kind of the hairlight which I was hoping for, but it is not as good as the headlight with the panel which I had before. So, and also this shadow is really annoying. So I don't know which modifier use now. I guess I will use the reflectors, so smaller reflector, to see if that makes any difference. I guess that and I also have a different 45 degrees reflector, maybe it's even 60 degrees, so maybe I would try it too. I have to bring it, so I will go and get the other reflector, and then it would take probably 2 minutes to swap them, because I have to raise the whole thing up. And with the time code I can actually stop recording and don't waste the SD card and storage. So let's see how that goes. Okay, so the settings are that the F600Bi, it is at 35%, but it is with the grid, so that's why the top down is at 3% and the background one is at 4%. The background is Zhiyun Molus G300. So that's the setup with 45 degrees reflector. Okay, so I would swap aperture reflector with this Godox one and see if that makes any difference. This one does not have a hotspot, so maybe it would be better. Let's see. Okay, so now I have a different reflector and maybe it is actually better. It is still at 3%, so I have to check this and maybe adjust the exposure. So I have to so it seems it is darker with the Godox reflector. I would go with 4%. It's a bit brighter. Now I'm with 6, and here you can see that this highlight is not that great. Like it creates some rim in front of my skull, but the back of my skull is still black, and now it is at 6%. I still don't know if it's bright enough. Like, I think this part is quite bright, so maybe I wouldn't go higher. And this is the key, and also the shadow is greater when, of course, this light is stronger. So maybe it's too strong, I don't know. So now this 35%, the background is 4 and the top down is at 6% with the Godox reflector. Is it better? Hard to say. What I can say, it's quite hard to raise it, and also it's not that I wouldn't recommend doing that with such kind of the stand. I would rather recommend wind up for that, because like this light is 10 kilo plus probably each riser is like 2, so when I'm raising the last one, then I have like 16 kilos at least. So, you know, I can feel it already in my back and my hands. Not sure I would be able to raise it like 10 times, probably 5 would be the maximum. So I think I would raise it with 2 different reflectors, and then I would switch to 600D, because 600D is lighter, and I would probably be able to raise 600D with light on 3. Might be possible to do it. It depends, because then the problem might be that if I have a 600D, the problem might be if I have 600D with LiDOM, I cannot angle it down. It would be like 45 degrees angle, so it would be hard to actually hit this spot. So then I can move it back, but also this might create strange shadows. We'll see. So now it's a Godox reflector, so I guess I would switch in a second to 30 degrees one and see if there is a difference. Definitely I would have to adjust the power to like it was 3, so around 1% probably, but so I'm not sure. There is still this harsh shadow, but maybe it's a bit different. Like, seems the illuminated area is bigger and there is no hotspot, so that's the plus. And how does it look on the BTS camera? The lame thing is that the BTS camera has auto exposure, so it's hard to actually judge. You can see that the exposure jumps, but I will check this. I think the area is bigger. So okay, now I will try to switch to 15 degrees, then 30 degrees, then 15 degrees, and we'll see if there is any difference. And then I will switch to 600D, maybe with Fresnel, to see if there is any difference. There shouldn't be, but might be. Actually, the Fresnel creates a bit different light than reflectors, so maybe Fresnel would be actually better. Okay, so maybe I will show closer how I raise it, and so I already lowered one segment and I'm just making it barely loose, and then I can still hold it with my hand, but if I should be a bit looser, so it goes down. I can just hold it with my one hand, but it's not recommended, so still I have to loosen this, and another section is down. I have to be careful to not pinch my hand, so I grab above and it's down. So now I tighten this, and another section again, it is moving already, so I can lower this kind of securely and then grab above and lower this to not pinch my hand, and it's down. So it's not that hard and not that dangerous, but still not that safe. So I will actually attach the 15 degrees now because it's heavier, so it would be easier to put it up, because I'm not tired yet, and this part is kinda hard. So I loosen that knob and now I bring it up. So both hands. The first section is tight. I have to be aware of the cable, not to stand on it. And next section. So I loosened that, and now it's heavier because I have the riser already. So it's like 2 kilos heavier than first section. Okay, I tighten it and I have 2 sections up, and now the last section. And when I'm moving the last section, there is also this mechanism. I'm moving the mechanism up So actually another 3 kilos probably. And you can hear that is a bit exhausting. So last segment, and again it depends, it shouldn't be loosened, but both heads. Okay, it's up. So that's the way to raise it actually. Not sure I would have the same angle here, but what you can do. Okay, so now I have 15 degrees reflector, and if I turn it on, I knew it, it's really bright, so I would go to 1%, which might be still too bright, and I think I can feel the heat, but maybe I'm wrong. So maybe at 1% it's actually okay. I probably still have this ugly shadow. So yeah, the ugly shadow is still here, but let me check the exposure actually of this top-down light. At 1%, I think it's okay. Maybe I can like go to 1.2, 1.5 maybe, but I think no, it's already overexposed. So actually at 1% it might be so I'm at 0.8 now. So that's just the top down, and there is this ugly shadow, so definitely other reflectors won't cut it. And yeah, that's the key. So I'm not sure there is much of a difference. I would check it later. So not sure, but I think the reflectors won't cut it because there is this ugly shadow. So maybe not the best idea, at least for creating the hair light. But other than that, that might be actually useful experiment. So I guess with the reflectors it's not the best idea, and I wonder, I can see that it's like 2 times smaller, and probably the BTS camera lies a bit because it is on auto exposure, but the wide angle, I can see it also on the wide angle, but on the BTS it's actually smaller than the key light. So the area illuminated is smaller than the key light. So that means it's really small, and you can see on the BTS camera that hotspot, like there is a hotspot around me, and I don't know about if there are raccoon eyes, maybe, but there are use cases for such a spot, but not what I had in mind for having some kind of the hair light. So that's the 15 degrees reflector, and maybe like that's the look without it. So definitely is better with the reflector, I'd say, except this ugly shadow. Other than that it's better in my opinion. So it makes a bit sense. And also, why it is that high? Because if it is that high, then the exposure on my whole torso would be kinda unified. Because if this is 6 meters above me, it's 4 meters above me because I'm almost 6 feet. So it is like 4.5 meters above me. That means that the difference in exposure from here to here is kind of small. If that would be just above me, then the difference would be huge. It would be like 1 stop or maybe 2 stops difference on my torso, and now it is probably 1/3 of the stop. I can use exposure calculator to actually see what is the difference, but judging from that picture, it is quite negligible. So that's the idea behind it, to have the light really high in the sky. So yeah. Okay, so now I'll switch to 30 degrees and see. I mean, that would be something between 45 and this 15, but just to see how the exposure looks like and what is the area illuminated. I will switch, and I doubt I would be able to raise 1200X with LiDOM 3. I will check how heavy it is, but I kind of doubt it I would be able to raise it, and also not sure about the angle this would create. But since the 1200X is longer than 600D, it might be a better idea to have 1200X, so maybe I would check it in a second. And with the Fresnel, I have F10 Fresnel, so it doesn't work with 1200X because of this new locking mechanism. So I don't have the CF12. I think this is the CF12, so Fresnel for 1200X. So I don't have this one, and it's quite expensive, so I probably wouldn't have it. And why this idea, I would tell in a second. Okay, so now it is 30 degrees reflector, and the light is not on. Now it's on, so I will have to again adjust the exposure, and this is the easiest with both lights turned off. My guess is like, I will start from 2% and see. 2 seems too high, so 1.5, now it is 1.6, should be okay. And you can see actually how what is the area illuminated. I'm not sure if it's bigger than the other one. That's the 30 degrees reflector, and that's with the background light, and that's the key light. So also, what is the difference? That's the difference. So I think it looks better, although maybe it would be a better idea to have it on the other side. And actually, why I'm even testing this, because I've done, so I recorded the video with my boom. Actually, this is the same stand, because this is a combo stand, so it works as a boom and with quite tall stand. I think it's have 6 meters and 10 centimeters, so I don't know, 18 feet, something like that, maybe 20. Then definitely this is too short as a boom, because it goes up to like 2 meters 35 centimeters, so it's too short. And I was investigating all the options, and I said that there is a one from the Cupo, which is around $500, and one from Manfrotto, which is all Avenger. This is the same company, and it has the similar price, but the maximum load of both of these wind-up stands is 30 kilos, and then I have to put a boom, dedicated boom, on one of them, and there are two options also. One is Mega Boom from Manfrotto, and the other one is, I don't know how they call it, but this is the same product actually from Cupo. A bit different design, but the specs are almost the same. And both weighs 15 kilos. So if I put the boom on the wind up, then I have only 15 kilos left of the load, maximum load. And F600Bi is 10 kilos. So then I have only 5 kilos for the counterbalance, which seems kinda iffy. Maybe I could put 10 kilos, but then actually I have to balance the light and counterbalance, like the boom have to go the same distance in both ways, and even probably farther with the counterbalance, because the F600Bi is quite big and that would be extended over the end of the boom. So that's iffy part. That might be actually waste of money. I mean, sure, the wind up is a wind up, so I can use it for something else, but the maximum height of these wind ups is between 3 meters and 60 centimeters, so 12 feet, I guess, and the other one is 380. So it's not even possible to use them like this combo stand. So that's kinda iffy thing. And then I also investigated other options. So there are bigger wind ups. They are priced from 1,500 to 3,500, but they have 70 kilo load, so that would be plenty to even put F600Bi with a boom and with 20 kilos of the counterbalance, and they would work great. But the problem is they both, because actually there are two options. I mean, there are some options between the boom, those booms I mentioned in the last video, and those big booms. So there are some in between options that they have like the maximum load probably at 45 or something kilos. So they might also work, but those big ones, they weigh 70 kilos. So I doubt one person can operate them, and I'm actually one-man band. So that's the bummer for the big ones, and a part of the price. So that's why I'm testing this one. The idea was that if I angle the light down enough, that would illuminate me from above, and I'm still not sure how good is this as a headlight. Maybe it's enough, I don't know. So I will be able to check this on the bigger screen. In this situation I would like to have the Megamon 22 inches from Aussie. This is 15 inches and it's quite far away, so it's hard to judge, but maybe actually it's okay. I don't know. The only iffy part is that there is a shadow, so that's annoying part. There is a shadow on the wide shot, and there is a shadow here, so that's the kind of annoying part. But other than that, it is not a dead bad of the idea. And the spark for that idea was actually that these wind-up stands are kind of iffy. The smaller ones have not enough load. The big ones might be too big to operate by one person. But I think I've seen that Andrew Locke operated big wind-up alone. So maybe it's possible, although I cannot imagine to move 70 kilos standalone. It seems impossible, although maybe I'm missing something. So So that's that. Okay, so now I will try to mount the LiDOM 3 with 1200X, but I kind of doubt that I can do it. So, but let's see if I'm able to raise it and if it's on the proper angle. So if it is, then maybe I would try to raise it, but my back is already tired, although I developed new technique of raising it. So I'm using my legs, so I just squat and put this up with the momentum from my legs, so it's kind of similar to kettlebell swing. So maybe I will be able to do it, but I'm kind of doubt it, so let's see. Okay, so now I'm trying to raise the 1200X with LiDOM 3, and I attached the grid to LiDOM 3, so it's additional probably 3 kilos. So not sure I will be able to raise it, but let's see. And the problem from the safety perspective is that it's much bigger, so if there is a wind above, that actually might collapse. Although I have 30 kilos of shot bags on the legs, so maybe I will add another 10 to be 100% sure. It is actually not that heavier than with the reflector. The problem is that it's a bit different angle than before. The squat technique. Looks like I'm fucking strong. Anyway, let's see how that works with the... But that would definitely illuminate wrong area. That's the problem. Illuminate somewhere there, I think. I'm not sure there is any difference, although it's... I doubt it illuminates me with the grid. That might be the biggest problem. But I can actually move it back. Let's see. Okay, so now it is with LiDOM 3 with a grid, and it seems it's kinda useless because it does not illuminate me. It illuminates the actually the campfire, I think. But let's see. Maybe because it's big, so maybe it actually works. So I will go to 35%, and it seems like the exposure is correct, although there is still this ugly shadow here, so hard to say, but it seems that like this is much more illuminated, even though I'm using a grid. So probably if I push it few meters back, but it will be kinda impossible. I don't have wheels on this one, so it's kinda lame. So let's see how that looks with all the lights. So that's how that looks with 1200X and LiDOM 3 with a grid. And what that light does. Somebody might be pissed because this light is like 6 meters above the ground, so might actually illuminate somebody's backyard. So we'll try to not have it turn on for a long period of time. So that's the look without it, and that's the look with it. And actually I think it's much better in terms of being a headlight. So maybe it's actually not that bad of the idea, except this ugly shadow. I don't remember I have the shadow under my chin with the panel, maybe, but it was definitely not that pronounced, so definitely it looks much better than without it, and it probably looks much better than with the reflector. So maybe it's not that bad of the idea, but it is quite hard. It's quite hard to raise. So maybe I would actually lower it down and push it a bit to see, but hey, you can actually see it in the frame of the BTS camera. It's like up there. It's kind of hilarious. So yeah, maybe it's not that bad of the idea to have stand like that. And if I have two of these actually from both sides, so maybe I would probably not eliminate this shadow but create the second one. So maybe it would be stupid, I don't know, but I think it doesn't look bad actually, and because it's really high, then the exposure on my whole torso and the face is kinda even. So yeah, it's quite a good idea. So I will turn off this one because somebody might be pissed actually, like how does it look on the, yeah, that's really big. So I mean, what is the, yeah, it's like the whole garden, the whole backyard is illuminated with it. Maybe I will try without the grid actually. Yeah, I think so. So I will try without the grid, and the 1200X is at 35% was because I turned it off, but now I'll try without the grid, so probably I can lower the output, but still this will illuminate bigger area, so it's hard to say what would be the effect actually. But yeah, it's neat idea except this shadow here, but maybe it's, if the key and this top down is from the same side, maybe it makes sense. So maybe I'll try it next time. Okay, so I will lower this and remove the grid and raise it again, and I think that would be the last time with 1200X. Okay, so now I have 1200X with light dome 3 without the grid, and this is 2 stops diffusion, so this denser one. So I have to first set the exposure, so definitely not enough that you can see on BTS camera how much is illuminated. Somebody might be really pissed, so I will try to be fast. Let's start at 20. It's already acting as a background light, so I have 25, not 100%. Yeah, it seems okay. Maybe I'll go to 24 actually. So 24 and background, then key, and the question is what is the difference. So definitely the background exposure is now changing with and it's changing a lot, so hard to say it's better. Probably the light on 3 with the grid was a better idea, because I haven't seen much of the exposure change in the background with the grid, so probably the grid was better. Now it's 24%, that looks like that. Actually the shadow is almost not there, but here there is still some shadow from my head, so not the best option, still worse than the panel, but not that bad. So I turn it off. That's the exposure without it. I wonder if the background light changes anything in this scenario. So that's the exposure, and yeah, and the background light is doing something actually. So it's not that bad. So yeah, that's the exposure with the 1200X LiDOM 3 and without the grid. Double diffusion like this denser one it seems to look quite okay, except this shadow. So I think that the experiment is successful, but I will still try 600D with Fresnel. That should be easier to raise, although I have to set it up. So I will stop recording and set it up. It would probably take like 10 minutes. I have to lower this one down, and yeah, it's kind of taxing raising it up and down. So I think I can like tick my training today. I plan actually to train my back, so I guess it's spot on. So let me switch to 600D and Fresnel. So the problem now is that the cable from 600D is too short, so it is here. So I have to attach ballast actually here and move it with the ballast. So it is additional few kilos, but the light is lighter than 1200X, so it shouldn't be a problem. But it is a bit annoying because, as you can see, I have to raise this up. I will probably test the light first. If it works, and then I will raise it, and then it won't work because this blocks the screw. So I actually have to go here. That's stupid. So that's the annoying part. I have to raise the light with the ballast because the cable is just, I think, 5 meters long. No, it's probably less, 3 meters, I think, which is stupid. But it works. So okay, so now I have to raise it with the ballast, which might be quite annoying because the ballast blocks the screw a bit, but I can actually push it. Okay, so it's connected to the up, and now the last razor. And this is also dangerous. Not sure you can see it because that can hit me in my head, the ballast. So I have to be aware and move away. And also, it is lighter than, even with the ballast, it is lighter than 1200X, but now the center gravity is much higher, so it's not that safe of the setup. I wouldn't recommend anyone doing this. Okay, so now I have the 600D and Fresnel in the spot position. So where is that up? And the up claims it is on. It's now it's on. It got quite chilly, and the problem is that I can only adjust this but by 1%, so if one is too bright, it's not, fortunately. So how that exposure looks like. So this is off, the key is disconnected from the app for some reason. I know. Okay, so the key is off, and the problem might be that it seems like I should stand here first of all. So the problem might be that you can see how small of the area is illuminated with 600D, and the problem might be that it goes up and down only by the full percent. So 2 might be too bright. Fortunately, it's not. Maybe even 3 would be okay. Let's see. No, 3 is too much. So I have to choose between 2 and 1. And 2, actually, I think it's still too much. So 1, yeah, I would go with 1%. So that's the look with 600D with just the Fresnel. It's like 6 meters up. It is already midnight. So let's check. That's the, maybe I'll check the background, but you can actually see that there is no background in this config. So that's the background light, and that's the key. So the top down is at 1%, background is at 4, this one is at 35, as I remember. Yes, 35 and 2 actually. I would come back. Not sure that makes any difference. So now the question is what actually this light does. Yeah, maybe it's the best hair light actually, but it's hard to say. So this shadow is longer, but the shadow on the grass is not that pronounced as before, but I think it's better than without it. So yeah. And I have to, the annoying thing is that the cable is too short, so the ballast is in the middle of the stand, and when I lower it, I have to deattach the ballast, lower it fully, change it to float, and then do it again. So reattach the ballast. Really annoying stuff, but it's just not a Pro version. That's why I think the Pro version has longer cable, but still it might not be long enough. It seems this one is 3 meters. Quite annoying. I don't know, but yeah. So this is the look. And actually, is there any difference? Yes, there is a difference on the BTS. You can see it creates the shadow, and actually I think it does not create anything in a background, only illuminates the grass and of course myself. So that's the look with the Fresnel at spot, and now we change to float and call it a day. I have to see this on a bigger screen, so it's hard to judge this makes any sense, but I think with Light Dome 3 it made sense, so might be actually a valid idea to use this, but it's kinda quirky to raise it, especially with this light, because you have to attach the ballast in the middle of the light. So quite annoying. So that was at 1% at float. That would probably go to 3, maybe 5. We'll see. So yeah. But I guess it's the look is with this light is better, even though it's maybe quite harsh. But I will see this on the bigger monitor to actually judge it. So now I will lower it for the last time, for the second to last, and yeah, let's see how the float looks like. Okay, I have to not stand under the ballast, although it wouldn't hit my head. It would if I stand below it. So definitely not a great setup. So now I have to disconnect the head and remove the ballast. So I'm raising that for the last time. I hope my shoulders kinda feel it. Now in the middle of the way I would have to reattach but maybe I would be able to attach it when it's fully raised. Let's see. The cable hit me in the balls. Yeah, I should be able to do it. But now the cable wants to hit me in the face. Okay, so the last config, this is 600D in the float position, although it looks more like a spot, I don't know, and now I'm blinded because I looked at it and it also says it's turned off. Now it's turned off and I'm blinded for the while. It's weird. Anyway, so I have to adjust the exposure again. So no key, no background. I'm still blinded, so might be hard to adjust that exposure, but let me try. It is at 1%, so I think I will go to 3, and it might actually be okay. Is it? Yes, I think it's okay at 3. So the key and the background. So that's the look with the 600D with Fresnel at float. And what difference does it make? That's the difference. I think it's not. There is a difference on the BTS, on the really wide angle. Not sure about the wide angle in the camera because now I see the cowboy shot. So yeah, that's the last look. Although that was off. So is it any good? I don't know. It's hard to judge. But I will check this on the bigger screen and make my mind. But the experiment was, I think, quite useful. First of all, I know I can raise all these lights with this stand. It's quite hard, but I can do it. So that's the actually good news. And I can even raise 1200X with a Lidom 3. I doubt I would be able to raise it with a Lidom 150 because the Lidom 150 is like 5 kilos or even more. So doubt it, but with Lidom 3 it is possible. So I think I'm not that strong, so I guess average strength. So probably most of gaffers should be able to do it. That's the actually good news. So I think the experiment is, if it is successful, hard to say, although all these looks were better with the top-down light than without it, except this kind of ugly shadow. So, and now at float, it seems that this shadow is like less pronounced, but maybe I'm just dreaming. And for some reason, okay, because it's now oak, so it's just smoldering there instead of burning. And it got quite cold, so I have to pack it up. There is already dew on every device. I hope there is no dew on the cameras, but like there is a lot of dew on the cables which are on the grass, so that's quite annoying. But other than that, the experiment, I think, is successful, and I hope that the battery in my Deity still works. Yeah, it is. Then you can judge, then let me know in the comments if this makes any sense. I hope it does. So that's it, and cheers, mate. After reviewing all the shots, I think that the one with Godox reflector and both shots with light dome 3 are the best. Probably because the shadow is not that pronounced as on the other shots with reflectors or the Fresnel. Let me know in the comments which shot you like the most.